Adding movement to a static shot can completely change how your footage feels. Even a subtle pan, zoom, or tilt can shift the viewer's relationship to the image and add energy or guide attention. So today we're looking at a few ways you can add movement to your static shots inside of Premiere. To start, you can do some simple movements by selecting your clip and going into Effects Controls. Here you can tap the keyframe icons and produce a digital zoom in or out, pan left or right, tilt up or down, or rotations. And when it comes to digital zooms, you'll fully get away with that, but bigger pans and tilts won't feel quite right. And that's because digital movements are just enlarging than scrolling across a flat 2D image. Although a fast pan or tilt will sell more easily, it does have its own issues, and that's adding motion blur, which we can add motion blur if we use the transform effect instead. So we're going to add our move here, then change the shutter angle to 180, and now we have that extra bit of realism. Although if you want very realistic motion blur, I usually use a third-party plugin called Real Smart Motion Blur. You also might notice, depending on the type of move you're doing, that the motion at its start and stop feels a bit abrupt or digital. We can smooth that out by right-clicking the keyframe, and you'll see these options here: temporal interpolation and spatial interpolation. Spatial interpolation controls the trajectory between the keyframes. So if you've ever been moving your position around a video or image and suddenly had these curves that you didn't intend, just set this to linear and it'll go away. Temporal interpolation is adjusting speed over time, so it will smooth the motion in or out of that keyframe. Like with this here, the move starts very abruptly and feels harsh, so I'll select this keyframe, then add an ease out, and now we have a much smoother start to that motion since it's ramping into it, which we can see that motion curve by tapping this arrow next to the stopwatch icon, and now we can adjust the Bezier handles in the motion graph. You can pull the handles out to create stronger easing so the motion starts slow, speeds up, then slows again for a more natural feel. You can make the curve steeper in the middle to add quick bursts of energy, or flatter near the ends for smoother starts and stops. You can also offset the curves of different properties like position and scale to add layered organic motion that feels more intentional and cinematic. We used to need third-party plugins to add in camera shakes, but now, thanks to the new film impact effects added to Premiere, we have a great camera shake plugin built right in. So we can toss that effect on the clip or adjustment layer, and we get a shake right off the bat. Then you can hit Surprise Me until you find something you like, or click Start Fresh down here to go completely custom. Right here we have styles to build off. The strafe is going to be the amount left and right, stride is adding to our up and down, and roll handles rotation. Then we can adjust these settings below to dial in further. Like if I find a motion that I like, but it's a little too much, I can stabilize here to tone it down as if adding a motion stabilizer. Then of course speed and overall master control, which is like the volume of the whole thing. And finally down here, we can dial in our motion blur as well. Digital motion in post is something that I am doing constantly in every single project that I do, whether that's a moment in a film that I realized I should have shot handheld to add energy, or a slow zoom in for style or emphasis. And often those slow zooms are not something that I'm finding in post, but something that I plan to do as a digital effect all along. Unless it's a long zoom, I rarely do zooms in camera. I'd much rather overscan shooting 6K or 8K for a 4K project than use that additional information to do my zoom without losing any quality. And all of this is especially helpful for any kind of social content or tutorials, since adding little bits of motion here and there can really help your pacing and keep the audience engaged. But that's it for today. If you have a suggestion for a topic that we should cover in the future, be sure to let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, or I'll be sad. I'll be a sad boy.